This is Amplify You, the podcast about you discovering your message and broadcasting it to the world. If you're a coach, author, or speaker, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking for the best return on your time investment to get your message out to the world in a bigger way, we're giving you full access and behind the scenes look of how we're running our podcast, how our clients have found success, and what you can do to launch your podcast today. The world needs your message. I'm Michelle Abraham, the host. Join my family as we unleash your unique genius and find the connections you need to launch your adventure today. Join us and let's get amplified. Hello, Amplify You family. Michelle Abraham, your host here today with a behind the mic interview. Guys, I'm so excited about this show. I have my friend Mardi Winder-Adams here with me, and she is the host of the D Shift podcast, which I can't believe is 42 episodes in already. Mardi, it seems like just yesterday that you came to Podapalooza as a participant, saw podcasting, and I think that maybe ignited some spark in you that wanted to go out and become a podcaster. And now it's like you're an unstoppable force of podcasting. So I love it. And welcome to the show today.
Well, thank you, Michelle. And I have to give the credit where it's due. You and your team are the ones that helped me do this, because the technical stuff would have just deadlocked me. I know that. But I love sitting and chatting with people. So I get to do that. And then I just hand it off to you guys and y'all take care of it from there on in. So
it's like we made the easy button for you.
Oh, yeah. The big easy button.
I love it. Well, we're so grateful that we can support you, especially on a show that to us, it's really important. We're supporting people that are out there making a huge impact in the world. And I know your podcast does that specifically. And just before we press record, we were talking about how many really incredible people your show is attracting to have as guests on your show, and just the quality of people you're aligning with is just really, really, really good. And I think that really has come down to you're very specific on who you work with on your show and what you talk about on your show. So before I give away too much more, can you share with us, what is the show all about? Who is it for with the listeners? And what is your what's your vision with the show?
Well, first of all, thanks, Michelle. And so the show is the D Shift, Redefining Divorce and Beyond. My target audience is high achieving women before, during, and post divorce. But unlike some of the divorce podcasts, which are really good and give a lot of, expert legal, financial, I wanted to have something that's a little broader in scope. So we talk about the legal stuff. I've had to choose, how to choose an attorney, buy an attorney, helpful things like that. But the real goal is to give this sort of balance of self-care, how to deal with the practical stuff going through divorce. How do you, as a matter of fact, I got a lady coming in on the next couple of episodes. It's going to talk about how to take a home that you lived in. It's maybe your marriage home. Maybe you don't like it the way it is. You want to spruce it up. She's an interior designer, and she works just with women going through divorce, how to get rid of the bad energy, the bad vibes, create a whole new look, and just move forward. So the podcast is really about supporting women in growing through the divorce process. I know we do have some guys listening in too, so men are always welcome to listen in. And certainly the message is universal. Men and women can use the message. It's just, I work as a divorce coach just with women, so that made sense to have the podcast more directed towards women or those who identify as women.
Yeah, and I love how you're bringing in all sorts of aspects of it. So you're not just talking about the painful stuff in divorce. You're talking about beyond the divorce and how you can kind of, reclaim yourself and your life again and navigate through all those tricky times. So such a great topic, so many great interviews you have, and so many really cool people that you're connecting with through this whole thing. And I know you've got some really cool things coming up. You and Brandon are brainstorming some cool things coming up in the co-parenting space too, which is really awesome. And I won't say any more about that. Let you guys reveal that as it comes up. But it's exciting to see all the things that are brewing around this topic. And, we just found out that your show is now landed in the top 10% of all podcasts out there, according to Listen Notes. So congratulations on that. That is super exciting.
It was. I go on listen notes every now and then to check things out. Or sometimes if I'm reviewing guests, I go on listen notes, see, oh, have they been on other podcasts, and I can give them a listen and things like that. Great tool, by the way. Thank you for turning me on to that. It's a great resource. And all of a sudden, there was numbers where there hadn't been any numbers before on the podcast. It was really exciting. So again, thank you and your team for helping me get that.
You're welcome. Well, that comes with consistency and just great content that you're putting out there. They recognize that. And so now being in the top 10% of all shows out there means that out of 3 million shows that are active on in the podcasting space, yours is in the top 10%. So that's something to be super proud of. So exciting. Now, I would love to know about your journey becoming a podcaster. Did you have any fears or hesitations before you started?
Yes, I had a lot. So I had not, people had said, oh, you should be on podcasts, you should do podcasts. And I think I had done maybe one or two. And then I was going to a couple of different events that, Kimberly Crow was involved in, you were involved in. And all of a sudden, this Podapalooza thing came up. And I thought, oh, that sounds kind of cool. Get to do 5 podcasts in one day. And it was so fantastic. And I recall a couple of the podcasters I spoke to who were so encouraging and so supportive and said, just talk. We're just here to have a conversation. And I thought, I love talking with people. That's what I do with my clients. So why not share, help people understand that you don't have to necessarily buy a book or, do a webinar. Tons of resources out there on podcasts. So I have become a podcast obsessed individual. I listen to podcasts now where I used to have audiobooks playing. Now I got podcasts that I listen to. And, I just feel like there's so much value that you can pack into a 20-minute conversation or a 30-minute conversation. It's actually amazing, I think. So my biggest fear was the technology thing. And that really did hold me back until we had a call and you said, this is what we can do for you. And I went, I can hit Zoom. I can do record. That's all I've got to do. And that was my fear. My second fear was that I couldn't get guests, and that I have not had that experience. I know I've seen podcasters on different podcasting forums and stuff say, I can't get guests. That has not been a problem for me. I think because my podcasts, when people listen to them, they're obviously professionally done. They're not, and there's nothing wrong with do-it-yourself stuff. I'm not saying there isn't, but for me, if I'd have tried to do it myself, it would have looked very, very basic, and it probably wouldn't have the quality. Well, it wouldn't have had the quality that it does now. So I think making some connections who referred me to other people who were really great guests, that's another benefit. And then having the really professionally done podcast, that I don't have any fears anymore.
I love it. And now you're an unstoppable force in this podcasting, 42 episodes in. So you're about to hit 50 coming up, and in a world where a lot of people quit podcasting after 20 episodes, that consistency has been really key for you to keep growing and keep your show growing and download numbers too. Now, one of the things we like talking about is like, how do you integrate your podcast into your business? And from what I can see, what you're doing really well is providing something that's like, in addition to the coaching that you do with your clients, you're providing them with like some resources and a tool that they can listen to without that time with you. So that the time with you is really spent on like really focused content. And then they can go and listen to the podcast in their spare time and get all this other extra awesome coaching and content in there. How do you see the podcast working in your business?
So that's definitely a big one. The other one is some of the guests that I feel have really relevant information and that are, really, really insightful. I'm going to set up a series of it's going to be called Real Divorce Talks. And so it's going to be almost equivalent. I guess the best description might be like a mini summit where there's just going to be 2 speakers a night for 3 nights. And it'll be like every quarter. And it'll be an opportunity, just like this. It'll be a conversation but it'll give the expert more opportunity to answer questions directly from people, which is something that's not possible through a podcast. So it would have the audience that was there could ask questions, get insight, get information. So I see the podcast really as one of the foundation pieces of reaching new clients and building my professional network. Because the other side of this is I only work with clients for a limited scope. Like once they get through their divorce, pretty much they need to go to another kind of coach. I now have a Rolodex, to use an old-fashioned term, of people that I personally know, I've spoken to, and I feel comfortable in saying to my clients, hey, we've reached the end of where I can be of a resource or service to you, but I've got this terrific person that I know can help you in the next phase, whether it's co-parenting or life coaching or career coaching. I've got somebody to hand off now. And that's invaluable, I think, for a business perspective as well.
Absolutely. Now you have this like network of people. You didn't have to go to crazy networking events to find them either, which is awesome. So you've gotten to interview them on your podcast. You have a relationship with them too. And, I would imagine that like you can also probably generate some revenue from that too, as you're referring people to other people. They maybe will have a referral fee or something like that too, which is great. I love that you're using the podcast in many different ways for many different purposes, which is super exciting. So for our clients that are listeners, maybe today that are sitting at home that are like still maybe contemplating if they should or shouldn't do a podcast, or they want to do one, but they're just, not quite there yet. Do you have any final words of wisdom for them?
Just do it. Like, I hate to use Nike's slogan, but really just do it. If you can sit and have a Zoom call and hit a record button, that's all you have to be able to do. You've got professionals like Michelle who can then take it over, do everything that needs to be done. But my sense is I think we all think we can't do things that that we can. And so just stepping out of your comfort zone and do it, and you will not regret it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And I loved how you shared like some of your fears that like once you started going, they were no longer like they weren't applicable anymore. Like the fear of like finding a good guest on your show, like, that's great. So I think getting into action really supports those fears dissipating. So if you're struggling with any of those fears, just start moving towards that goal, whether it's just like writing down the type of show you want to have, figuring out who you want to talk to, and making those steps until you're ready to pick up the phone and make a call to us, and we can help you the rest of the way. But I think that's really great advice, Marty.
Well, and the other thing I was going to say, another shameless plug I'm going to throw in here is go to Podapalooza. And even if you just go listen to the speakers, it's all going to be about how to do podcasting and how to get that confidence, how to do all that stuff. And then if you do the actual events where you get to podcast, you're going to feel great when you walk out of there. It totally changed how I saw podcasting.
Yeah, I love that. And thanks for bringing up Podapalooza. I haven't talked about it much on this podcast. And so Podapalooza is an event that we run where all day long we have expert speakers talking about helping you grow your business and your podcast and your speaking. And then in the breakout room, we have something called the Podatorium, where Marty got to go on. And the first time she was a VIP, she got to go in and be interviewed on up to 5 podcasts that day. So it gives you a chance to like share your message and get your wording correct and kind of figure out like how you go about and share what you do on a podcast. And then, oftentimes we've had a few Podapalooza babies that got really excited after that and then wanted to do their own podcast. Marty came back the next Podapalooza as a podcaster to interview other people, which has really been great. I know you're missing this one, Marty. This is the first one in six Podapaloozas that you've missed. Yeah. We will miss you. We will miss you at this one coming up, but we will see you again at the next one in August.
Absolutely.
So great. I love it. Well, Marty, before I let you go today, are there anything else you want to share with us about? Well, first of all, make sure you guys go check out Marty's show. Give her some love on her podcast. Send her a review. Tell her how much you love listening to her show. And if you know anyone else in the space that she's in, feel free to connect with her and share these other experts that, are also doing amazing things out there in the divorce world. So especially if they're working with high achieving women, especially. So make sure you connect with Marty. And Marty, before I let you go, any last final words for our audience today?
I think just that to do podcasting, I think is important because, when you talked about most people only get to 30, I think because there's so much background stuff that has to go on, it's just overwhelming. So if you can just take care of what you enjoy doing and let somebody else do the rest, I think that's the secret sauce for getting a podcast up and rolling.
Absolutely. I know if I had to do the editing on my own show, I would still be at episode 0. So I think that's why I have a team that helps us all do all those kind of things, right? So, I don't think we're all meant to do all pieces. So do what you do best, which is like sharing the information, being out there, being the one that gets to connect with all the people, and then let the techies take care of the tech stuff. Right? So fun.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Marty. Well, we'll see you again. And congratulations on, I'm just going to say congratulations on 50 episodes, because it is coming up in the next couple of weeks. So super exciting, big celebrations, and top 10% on Listen Notes is something really to get excited about. So congratulations on all your success in podcasting. We're so grateful to be able to support you on your way. And Amplify You family, go out there, check out Marty's podcast, go give her a review, and we will see you guys again next week.